Hello, parents, and welcome back to ParentShift, a place where we meet to discuss conscious parenting. I am continuing my series of parenting myths that are raising broken adults. Today is the part 4 video, and today's theme is emotionally invalidating and love avoidance parenting. Before I get deeper into the concept, I want you to take down a question for reflection. Hope you have a pen and paper handy. Ask yourselves this question: if your child cannot share and enjoy emotions with you, who are you teaching them to trust? I'll repeat that question for you. If your child cannot share and enjoy emotions with you, who are you training them to trust? Stay with me as I unravel some of the elements that will address this question, and I will speak about this towards the end of the video. So, as you go with me, take on some points, write down some reflections, and do leave your comments in the comment section so I know what worked for you from this video. And definitely subscribe and share this message so it can reach more and more people and it can benefit them in their parenting. Now, coming back to our construct, what is really emotional invalidation and love avoidance parenting? Think about it like this: that if you or somebody other some other parent is saying, shh, don't do that, the world is watching, what will they say, children don't behave like this, or stand straight, don't lean on me, I am not, don't be a climber, I'm not here to support you all the time, or if you do the right things, then I will give you my care and attention. If you don't, then you don't deserve to be loved. If you are a parent who makes these kind of statements, then what you are doing is emotional avoidance, emotional invalidation, and love avoidance. This could also be when, if your child is not done something well, if the child has failed in an exam, did not get selected in certain competition, or if there was some incident that happened between them and their friends and they're feeling emotional, and you try to tell them things like, no, 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 this doesn't matter, you shouldn't be feeling like this, come, let me take you out and change your mood. Even then, you are not talking about emotions. So, it's very important for us to address emotions, to work with children to help them understand what is this energy, this experience called emotions. Because when children are born and they're growing up, they don't know how to identify these various things. They only know that there is some sensation that is happening. They have gone through some experience, and that experience is making them feel in a certain way. Sometimes it's fear, sometimes it's anxiety, sometimes it's anger, sometimes it's frustration. So they go through all of these things. They go through comparison, they go through jealousy. And for children, it's very easy to feel these feelings, but they don't know how to identify it. They don't know how to talk about it. And it's our job as parents to do this. And I often say this, that love, care, and nurturing are things that are not taught to an adult. These are things that a child needs to absorb. Only when a child absorbs these things sufficiently in its childhood does it grow up in life to become a loving, caring, nurturing adult. And that loving, caring, nurturing adult is the one who can then touch others' life around them in a positive fashion. And which also brings us back to the same point that I keep saying in all of these videos, that we parent from our own life scripts, from the decisions that we made in our life of how we want to be, how we don't want to be. So if you are, or if somebody around you is an emotionally invalidating or love avoidance parent, then possibly you have had some experiences like this where you have been denied love. You have been disciplined instead of giving you love. You have been shut up instead of being allowed to do some amount of drama or to do some amount of childlike things. You have been cut away. You have been denied emotions or love or appreciation because you did not do something like come first in the class or some first in the competition, or you did not do as well as Sharmaji's son or Varmaji's daughter, etc., like that. So within your own script decision could also be that suffering where possibly you saw your sibling being splurged with emotions, and this often happens to elder children or middle children who see that their younger ones are often pampered, whereas they did not get that treatment. And many times it does happen that the first child is an experiment for parents, and they treat the first child often very badly, and sometimes the mid child is forgotten because a lot of attention goes to the younger child and the elder one's progress, and the elder one is becoming an adult, the younger one is pampered, and the middle child is forgotten. So in several of these cases also, you could have picked up some of these challenges. So and yeah, there's another one that comes to my mind. Sometimes you may have got stifled by the love, the control of your parents through their emotional control. Maybe then also you made these decisions that you are not going to uh, cater to too much emotions of your child or show love easily. So, whatever that script is that you carry, you yourself need healing. And I say this again and again because we are parenting from our script. It's us who first needs healing and work. So, if you have had some challenges in your life as a parent, talk to a coach, talk to a counselor, take some help, and overcome that hurt that you carry. Because if the parent is healthy, the child will definitely be healthy through the parenting approach. Now, coming back to our children, when we deny or when we control emotions, when we control a little bit of that love, yes, in the short term, it does discipline the child. It does teach the child to be independent in the short run. It also helps the child to think on their own, because too much of love, too much of involvement in emotion can also stunt the thinking. It does encourage, but this creates a void, and that void could quickly extend into a suffering. So while in the short run it could be disciplining, it could help the child mature. So you could use certain periods of no emotion, no drama, restricted focus, but it cannot be done for a long time. The moment it gets into a longer period, or it becomes an approach in crucial times of the child's life, like the formative years of 5 to 8, or teenage years, or pre-teenage years, or there are times when it's very crucial with exams or certain competitions, etc., or if the child is learning art or sports or certain performance area, and then you try to control the emotion, the love, at that point in time, for an extended period, if it happens, it can quickly become a suffering. You may end up offsetting the child towards therapy later on in life. And it's as dangerous as that. In fact, this can create a lot of stroke hunger in the child, and the child can have a deprived feeling, a very shriveled feeling on the inside, which causes a very unfeeling, unyielding child who's then becoming an unfeeling, unyielding adult. And that adult then becomes prosecutor, that adult then becomes needy, greedy, and then can cause a lot of challenges in various relationships. So be careful. This is one of those bigger parenting problems that we have to learn to avoid. We need to understand what is emotional intelligence and work with the child to help that. And we'll come back to the solutions in a little bit. But remember, your child isn't a cactus. Your child isn't a camel. That you give a little bit of love, and it's like the camel drinking a lot of water, or the cactus absorbing a lot of water, and then it can go through with the desert's heat. The children are not like that. They need a regular dose of love, care, affection, nurturing. Only then do they grow up nicely. So, again, going back to, like I said, don't set up your child for therapy so early on in life. Emotional intelligence, addressing emotions, care, love, nurturing has to be absorbed very well. Now, as I do in these videos, I keep talking about the myths. There are two big myths I'll address here. There could be many, but the first myth is children do drama all the time. They need to shut up. Now, this is a little bit of unscientific statement. It's a little bit of what we term as grandmother psychology, maybe terms which are prevalent in families, societies. Children don't do drama. They really don't know what are the worldly ways of behaving. Concepts like matter, manners, structure, discipline, the worldly ways of accepted norms of behaving. These are not things that children are born with. You have to teach them. Yes, there are some children who are fairly controlled, disciplined by nature. It's the nature that they are born with. It could be their birth stars, their charts. It could be also the elements of energy that they have absorbed early on in life, which is causing that. However, for most children, they will indulge in some sort of unstructured behaviors. They will have emotional outbursts. They will have periods where they will want instant gratification. They want love, care, attention. Basically, they are telling you something. There is a message in that for the parent. And that message is what you need to catch. So if you suffer from the myth that children do drama all the time, they need to shut up. If that happens, then you are losing an important opportunity to understand your child. What is triggering my child? What is that my child has not learned? What is that my child needs to learn? How do I work around my relationship? In fact, these are opportunities for you to work well with your child, bond well with your child. This is the time for you to provide love, care, and nurturing to them. So do not suffer from this myth that children do drama all the time. They need to shut up. Don't do that. Don't go there. It's a very dangerous zone. You will end up shutting your child down. You'll end up shriveling your child if you cut them away. You will deny them very important doses of nurturing, care, and bonding with them. The second myth that many of us suffer from, and especially if you are emotionally invalidating and love avoiding parents, is that too much of love and appreciation spoils them. They need to earn it. So you would start tying love and appreciation only to achievements. There is very little pride in who the child is. There is very little appreciation of the uniqueness of the child, the effort of the child. It can happen that the child is making some stick drawings, what we used to do in the childhood, where a simple hut, a simple person was there, and it's not even looking like a human body, but the child would like to show it to you. Now, at that point in time, if you end up criticizing the child, or if you don't share that joy of the child, if you don't show love, and if you say good, you keep doing, keep practicing, learn more, if you don't do those kind of things, the child's growth will get stunted, the child's effort will get stunted. It's very important for a significantly long period of time, anything between 2 years all the way to about 12, 14 years, to appreciate the efforts of a child as much as we appreciate the outcomes and achievements. Only later on in child life does the child start understanding the concept of achievement as compared to others. It takes time. That kind of complex thinking only comes a little towards the teen years, and when the child starts comparing itself with the adult world, when it starts seeking its adult identity. Till then, it's very important to appreciate the effort of the child, the intent of the child, the approach of the child. Also, it's important to show them the reality, and I'll speak about this in one of my later videos, where I talk about not putting the child on a pedestal, but here, the focus is appreciate the effort of the child. Everything doesn't have to be a give and take. Don't make a trade out of your relationship with your child. So, bust that myth. Don't regulate love and affection to only achievements. Use appropriate doses of care, nurturing, and love to groom the child while teaching the child the real things of life. So, what is the real way, the right way to approach this? If you are a parent who's been emotionally invalidating and love controlling, then you need to start talking emotions at home. And that's the first step. Encourage identification and description of emotions and the triggers behind it. Helping the child to understand if the child is having real happiness or unreal happiness. Like, you take the child out and the child says, I'm feeling very happy today. Why? Because you took me out. Then you have to help the child understand that going out was just the event, but I wanted to spend time with you. That spending time has to get connected to joy, not the stimulation of going to a mall or watching the movie or getting the ice cream. So that's how you talk about emotions in a real way. Or if the child lost in a competition, or something happened at school and the child is feeling angry or anxious or sad, then helping it understand that trigger and what's happening around it. That's the mechanism that you need to go through. So work hard with your child, but also you need to understand these concepts yourself. So if you are unclear yourself, read some books. There are a lot of good literature available out there which can help you identify emotions and work. And maybe if you have had experiences in your life which you need to cleanse, like I said, you may need to work with a coach, counselor, therapist to heal yourself a little bit before you get there. While you also understand emotions and talk about emotional intelligence and triggers and help your child understand this, you also need to talk about concepts like boundaries and self-regulation. What are boundaries? How much to do? When to do? Where to do? And what's the right way to express? What's uncontrolled and what's controlled way? And how do you really regulate yourself? And in the heat of the moment, if you feel angry, if you feel frustrated, what to do with it? So the lessons of self-regulation have to start really early in life. Otherwise, the child will not pick it up. So just like a child needs to absorb love, care, and nurturing, the child also needs to absorb the concept of discipline, structure, self-regulation, etc. at home very early. You yourself need to role model these. And the third point here then is make love unconditional. Don't attach love to the concept of achievement and excelling. Only then love will be given. But make it unconditional. And along with love, also include concepts of discipline, value, structure. So balance the way you are teaching and handling your child using a combination of emotions and logic, the left and the right brain sort of approach. And do it parallelly. And last but not the least, remember, children are children. They have childlike habits and they have childish habits. Their childlikeness is curiosity, creativity, expression, instant gratification, joy, etc. Their childishness could be stubbornness, and being unreasonable once in a while, or yelling and screaming and expressing themselves in uncontrolled fashion, unbound energy basically. So all of that is what you need to take in your stride, help the child preserve its childlike nature, but help the child control its childishness. That's what you essentially need to do. So practice those. Identification and talking about emotions, teaching it boundary and self-regulation, making love unconditional while working with discipline, value, structure, etc., and letting the child be child and controlling the childishness while preserving the childlike nature, the curiosity, creativity, etc. And that brings me to the question that who are you training them to trust? If the child cannot enjoy emotions and share emotions with you, who are you training them to trust? Remember, a controlling parent, a emotionally denying parent, a love denying parent, a parent who's image managing, which I covered in the first video. So these kind of parents who deny the child, who control or stifle the child, are often leaving the back door of their house open. And the house here in the sense means the family system. And through that back door, strangers are going to walk in, people who can prey on your child. And these could be friends who have unscientific understanding, knowledge from internet and here and there, Instagram reels and social media phenomena, the TikTok phenomena and challenges where the child wants to prove its self-worth and get appreciation and likes from so many places. In fact, a lot of children have this problem where they are not getting the right kind of stimulation and attention at home. They are seeking that today on social media. And many of them are having mental health issues when they post things and they don't get likes, they don't get comments, they don't get appreciation. There is so much of hidden language that they use to insult and assault each other on social media. So much of that happens because of what you do. So if you are not going to enjoy emotions, if you're not going to bond with your child, you are teaching them to trust the world, but when they trust the world, it's a bunch of untrustworthy social media phenomena, influencers, friends, etc., who can take away the peace and joy and love and safety in your child's life. Take care of your children. Don't let them fall prey to the world out there. And the way to do that is not to control them. The way to do that is to genuinely love, care, and nurture your children while giving them the appropriate dose of values, discipline, and structure and self-regulation. Work hard at parenting. It is something that requires hard work. It is something that requires your intellectual and emotional maturity and making your child your first priority. Emotional education builds intelligence. Love is not the threat, isolation is. And learn to know when you are pushing your child more than is healthy or appropriate. Be a loving, nurturing, caring parent.